When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.
What's up, fans of this podcast? This is Too Much Dip. It's Wednesday. I'm Dave. I'm going to host. Joining me in studio, as always, Dylan Shivery.
Being forced once again to discuss hockey with you. Not thrilled about it. However, I would like to get some credit for not wearing my Vegas Golden Knights t-shirt. I'm going to save it for next Monday, which will be, I guess, between games 1 and 2 when we record of the Stanley Cup finals. So,
why are you just now breaking it out?
I don't know. Because now it's like it's real, you know? We're there. We made it to the ship.
Been there before.
Yeah. I didn't have the t-shirt then, though.
Here's a guy who knows a little something about championships. District championships, maybe. I don't really know what the peak of your career was, but it's KJ Ellis live from Madison, Wisconsin.
8th grade undefeated city championships, but thank you. I'm happy to be here. I also feel like I'm one NBA jersey short of a Mitt Romney fit today, but I won't let that slow down the content.
What's the Mitt Romney fit for the folks at home?
You've got to rock a really generic business cash. Usually, what's the it's not plaid. What do you call that?
Gingham?
You know.
Opa Gingham
the
style?
Pattern. Gingham, exactly. Usually generic gingham, and then throw a really half a size too small NBA jersey on over it. And just go have a time.
That's a classic, like, late 20s Dallas guy. Not so much these days, but like in the prime of the Dirk era, just go to the game, just get off from your job at E&Y, go down to the game, just throw on a jersey, maybe buy one.
Dude, that's like 55-year-old finance guy who was going to the game and someone's like, dude, you're not going to wear a jersey here, throw this on. And you see like 3 of them sitting together in very good seats.
You know how I know I'm cool and not a 55-year-old guy? Because I throw mine on over a hoodie.
Yeah,
okay.
That stinks.
A b-ball jersey over a hoodie?
Yeah, that stinks.
That's pretty common.
Yeah, it stinks.
You just don't like hoodies. You don't like hoodies over sport coats or under sport coats. You don't like them under b-ball jerseys. I'm calling it b-ball to save time.
Hoodies have a time and a place, and it's very casual environments when you're just looking for comfort.
We've got the hoodie czar joining us. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Happy to be here.
If I set the line at ninja choke over under of responses from people in the finance world that will comment on Dave saying E&Y instead of EY, I'm going to take the over. Just going to go out and say I'm going to take the over.
EY? Yeah. I only fuck with Big Four. Is it Big Four, Big Five?
It's Big Four, definitely.
Who fucking knows?
I don't know.
Nobody knows what those people do. What are you guys counting?
I guarantee before 8 p.m. we'll have a response on it, even if we post at 7:30.
What have you been up to, man?
Grinding, man. I cleaned out my garage. People have been wondering, like, hey, how is the clutter in KJ's garage there in Madison a year after moving? Not even a topic anymore. Your boy's hung shit on walls. Floor's been swept. Everything's been blown, as a reward. But it was a great little Memorial Day weekend. Happy to be grinding.
What do you do to earn that award?
Come on, man.
I just told you, clean the garage. I do want to give a quick shout out.
Nice pivot.
I do want to give a quick shout out. I don't know how you fellas' childcare situation looked on Monday, or if it was a little extra fam time to appreciate and thank those that have that we've lost over the years. But the real MVP might just be my childcare organization that was open on Memorial Day. Didn't expect it. Didn't think it would happen. In fact, the doors were open. The kids were happily cared for all day. Just really didn't expect the time back to myself. So,
Wow.
big props, big shouts.
That's really cool.
Big for you, man.
I just did it
Huge.
the old-fashioned way. Just my wife and
Okay.
I were just raising our child. The 3 hours of that was in a car.
Just sitting I was gonna say sitting in traffic on 35.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Rhodes, my son, if you're new here, he just started daycare yesterday.
Oh,
And
did not know.
we're 2 for 2 on non-complete meltdowns, which is huge. So we'll see. I'm worried about day 3 when he realizes, this isn't like a 1-off or a 2-off. This is a multi-day event. This is it forever. So far so good.
Homie and I got a dope swim off Monday. That's the extent of it.
What pool were you at? I meant to ask. Lifetime.
Lifetime.
Nice.
It's a fantastic pool.
We will be there. We will be going there probably this weekend, actually.
Let's link up at some point, Davey. How about that?
Yeah, it's a great situation. And I'm so happy to have them sponsoring this podcast. Lifetime Fitness. That's kidding. That would be dope.
It would.
That would save
It's a good one.
Save us some money.
I don't think they need promotion at this point.
No, they
They're doing
don't.
quite
Seems like
well.
they're selling memberships at a voluminous rate.
Yes.
KJ?
Oh man, fellas, how much of your weekends did you spend taking in the greatness that was the Final Four of both men's and women's college lacrosse? Because your boy was absolutely dialed in for no more or less than about 12 seconds. So much so that I'd like to congratulate both Notre Dame and Northwestern, specifically Northwestern's Izzy Skane, on a historic run after just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Northwestern bringing home championship. So,
Thank you.
shouts to my team.
No, we definitely did that justice. My knowledge of the lacrosse Final Four is pretty much limited to tweets by Mike Golick Jr., friend of the show, and also Shitto, who you might know from
When my team wins a big game,
that. So yeah, I did see Notre Dame won, which is huge for them. I'm very happy for them. Very happy for Mike Golick Jr. That's really all I have to say on it.
The way that they tied the game, and I do know this for a fact, they tied the game in the semis against Virginia after being up early in the game. Don't know how it went, but obviously Virginia came back, and there might have been 28 seconds left in an absolute spin cycle. I believe Jake Taylor, put on Virginia to score the tying goal, put into overtime. Both semis went to overtime. It was great TV. I'm not going to lie and say that I watched every minute of both games. So this is an impromptu cucking segment here, but it did deserve some attention because it was great television, the bits I saw.
It's I got to call you out here because you earlier stated you watched about 12 seconds of it all. And then you just gave us some intel there that might lead me to believe it was like 2 minutes, 12 seconds.
Maybe stop lying to people.
What story are you going with?
The women's. I did not watch the women's.
Oh, okay.
Is the fact.
We got toxic KJ joining us.
Caught a probably a good 20 minutes of both the end of the semifinals with Virginia and Notre Dame and the finals with Notre Dame and Duke. So I will take that crown.
Guys, I think we would be remiss and we would be doing a great disservice to our audience. Look it up. If we didn't talk about Michael Block, because it's been a while. I just want to check the pulse, see how everybody's feeling. Take your temp on the Block man, because when we last Monday, guy was on a heater, man. Could do no wrong.
Was hot.
Steaming hot.
Did it cool down?
I'm asking you guys, where's your temp at? Where are you at on the Block man, given the last, 10 days?
Before the Schwab, I call it the Schwab.
That's what it's known for, especially in Dallas-Fort Worth. People call it the Schwab.
I had been getting pretty significant block fatigue. The dude was just all over my TV, all over the TL. I mean, just volume shooting posts from golf and golf-adjacent accounts. And it was just a lot. And I understand that it was a big story, but it had become way too much for me. And the only thing that would have helped the situation was if he was served just a big fat ass piece of humble pie. And he was a little bit. He was.
Yeah, I'd
And-
say a lot of it.
And I'm hoping that that was his last exemption invitation.
It's not.
Who knows?
If you're dialed into the RBC Heritage in Canada, you'll be watching it. You'll be seeing the Block Man, and he'll probably get a dope pairing, and he'll probably have a prime tea time.
And I hope he fires at 88.
Wow.
Yeah, he might do that, but you know he could go out the next day and shoot 58, 59. He wouldn't surprise himself if he did that.
And I also understand that he's having a major moment, and he's perhaps a bit emotional and all that stuff. He doesn't have to cry during every interview.
Wow. Fellas, is it okay to love your son?
Not everyone. Like mix in a cry here and there. Not every time the camera's in your face. It's not that emotional that like your kids are just at home watching you play. I mean, you're gonna go see him after the tournament. It's not a huge.
You don't get a little teared up thinking that like Parks might be at home like watching this on YouTube right now?
A couple cries is okay. I said that. Not every time, man. It starts to feel a little disingenuous after the fifth cry.
KJ, do you think it's okay for men to cry?
I'm just trying to quantify cries. If it's individual events, conversations like tears, what constitutes an individual cry sesh. But
oh, did you shoot 81? Did you miss the cut? You're packing your bags on a Friday?
Dylan did, set the table properly by saying by the end of the week. But I was going to say there might be some revisionist history because when we met last week, I was the one throwing myself on the sword saying I was being the asshole in the group text, calling for this guy to be kin-boned by Thursday of last week.
What's that exactly? I'm new here. I'm not very online.
You become America's starlet, star, whatever you want to say, main character of the internet for a couple of days, only to find out that your Reddit user history is very public and very obvious, and the internet will find that you leave a lot of very, I don't know what you want to call it. You're the guy that comments on porn videos online. Like the equivalent of that is what Ken Bone got found to do. I don't think it was. I can't recall if there was anything illegal, but it was very creepy and not okay, I guess.
Randy, are you part of that community?
They're hilarious comments on some of these videos. So I'll be honest,
yes.
I read them sometimes. They're hilarious. That is just good quality comedy there. Just go read them.
Randy's out there commenting sauce. Trips is best. All right. So, yes, whenever we were here, I thought that I was rooting for this guy's downfall. You guys corrected me and said, you know what? This is just a beautiful slice of Americana. All of us can enjoy this wholesome moment. I should have just shut up and waited for today and then watch Icarus fall back to earth because it's been great.
Yeah, I think you could say that if you had fatigue a week ago, it was mostly not his fault. I mean,
Correct.
It was media driven, and that was to be expected. Then he went on the Bob Menery podcast, and the now infamous quote would ask, how his game stacked up. Like, he's like, Menery made a comment, like, I assume Rory's a better player than you, something. And he just kind of stopped him. He's like, well, he's definitely longer. And I think the paraphrasing of that quote was, if I had Rory's length, stupid length, yeah, you'd be not game over. He said he'd be
up
top
there with
player
the
in
best
the world.
Yeah,
he said his
basically.
Short game and his iron play, elite.
As good as anyone is what
World
he was
class.
implying.
World class. There you go.
I like that, by the way, that he used world class. That's just like a very Pooh Bear in a tuxedo way of saying very good. If you're familiar with memes.
Dave's a big meme guy.
That's where he lost most people in golf Twitter. I guess golf media kind of turned on him.
He got a lot of attention. It didn't help that he was sitting across from Bob Menery, also
Famously, the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings a couple years ago. Do you guys ever? That's true. Do you guys ever find yourself talking to club pros, like at golf courses? Do you ever in your life? Dylan, you're famously a member at ACC back in the day.
Well, I wasn't myself. My family
You
was.
still got in there.
Right.
Club pros, my point, they're very, very sure of themselves. They're cocky people. They are very, very good players. And on a given day, they can go out and shoot very, very good scores. Now, why they're a club pro and not playing on tour, it's usually between the ears, as they say, or
When you're surrounded by people, okay, just a regular Friday, Saturday at your club, when you're surrounded by golfers who probably aren't as good as you, it's easy to be cocky. You know, you're the tallest guy in the room, like that. You know, that's, you know what I mean? But his cockiness carried over to a venue where he is not the best at all, or even close to it. He had a great tournament. I get it, in a very big stage. You got to dial it back a little bit, man. You got to.
I wrestled with the thought of, like, how would it have come off if he was the guy declining some of the interviews that he did last week, notably SVP 2 times. And, you know, David's probably the only person that also will remember this. He likely heard the same montage of Michael Block this week of a lot of his comments. It made me think of a good friend, Jake Kemp, on his show. I don't know how long ago this was, 6 years ago. Chewbacca woman. You remember her? She
do.
Found the Chewbacca mask. She laughed hilariously in her car, became an internet sensation for about 12 days. Within those 12 days, I believe Jake's show tried to have her on to be a radio guest, to which she basically declined, said, speak with my management team, but I'm unavailable or uninterested in this moment. I'm like, Michael Block had every right to accept every opportunity, but you may have wanted to dial back the exposure, and he would have probably looked like an ass not to accept the Colonial invite last week. But maybe he could have also known himself to be like, you know what? Maybe let's stretch this out. I'll catch him at the RBC the following week and go from there.
Yeah, as someone who talks into a microphone, we can all relate to this daily, weekly. You're gonna say some dumb things. If I were to do 40-ish interviews, television appearances, podcasts, radio shows, I'm going to say something dumb. And I think that's what the problem was here. Just overexposure. Probably, he's seems like the kind of guy who likes to have a cold beer, an ice cold beer, maybe an ice cold Bud Light, maybe a Miller Light.
Maybe an Ultra Right.
Could be an Ultra Right. We don't know.
Woke-free,
We're not here to
100%.
speculate. We haven't checked his Reddit yet.
There's no woke in that.
There's no woke. It's woke free, KJ. It's what you've been searching for.
It's the area near the dock, right? When you're coming back in from a nice day on the lake. It's the woke free zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just a little lake humor for the fellas. My point is just overexposure. You're going to say something dumb. He was probably hung over as hell. He shot 81 Thursday at Colonial. Famously not a long course, which, had he had the world-class length like Rory, who knows what he could have shot. Be up there. But I'm ready for the redemption arc. I'm ready for the roller coaster that is the Block. He's going to go out there in a tournament. Maybe it's next year at the PGA, but he's going to have like a day where he's going to tee off early on Thursday, and you're going to look at the leaderboard. You're going to go in, record your podcast or whatever you do on Thursday morning. You're going to be like, oh, wonder what's going on in the PGA. Let's go check it out. It's at Valhalla. Yeah, cool. Oh, my God, Michael Block's 2 under, making some noise. And then, he'll come back down to earth. But I'm ready for the redemption arc just because it's hilarious to me. Just the ride. This dude's 46. I'm hoping he tries to parlay this into a champs tour. He won't. But
he's going to parlay this into a lot of free drinks at random country club bars around the country. Like, if I were him, I would be booking like guest clinics at every country club that I could find over the next 24 months, have them prepay, lock it in.
Have you ever played like a charity scramble and you get to a tee on like a long par 5 and they've got like one of the world's longest drivers there, like the guys who drive what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the fucking? I wanted to say strongman, but it's not fucking strongman. It's they had the big dude from Callaway at one I played at, and you pay like $20, you donate $20, and he'll hit your tee shot for you. The funny thing is, if they can't find the fairway, they get like 3 chances, and then they'll say, you can just go put it at like the 150. You can drop it there. Because the guy we paid, he pull hooked it every time. He couldn't find the fairway. So we're like, this kind of sucks. We just donated. Fine. Happy to help. He's just like, yeah, if I miss the fairway, you can put the ball at the 150. It's like, okay, cool. Anyway, that's not going to apply to Michael Block because he's famously not long. I'll tell you what is long.
But if he was, you'd be up there with anybody.
Who knows?
Mhm.
Who knows what could happen, man? Hey, let's give a shout out to our friends at Rowback real quick. You might notice if you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing the Rowback navy blue polo. It's probably a top 3 polo that I own, comfort wise, and I just like a good navy blue polo. But it's not just polos, Dylan. They've got hats. They got hoodies. I don't know where you're at on hoodies these days. But...
I love a hoodie.
Okay.
I love a good pair of joggers that they make that are fantastic. They're very comfortable. All their stuff is extremely comfortable.
I got an email from these guys at Rowback, these guys and gals.
Right.
And I was scrolling through it, and I was like, hey, I know this guy. It was you.
Yeah, I did a photo shoot for Rowback not so long ago. The homie and I did, actually. Little Father's Day campaign. Father's Day's coming up. Great opportunity to get the old man a new crisp polo. Maybe your old man likes joggers. Get him a hat. Their hats are just, they're fantastic.
I'm getting my dad some joggers. I got to see what old Don Ruff looks like in the jogs.
Promo code BACKER20 will get you 20% off at checkout. It is a one-time use code, so load that card up. BACKER20 for 20% off.
Well, we're going to have to talk some hockey now.
Okay.
Just going to tie a bow, as they say, onto the season that was the Dallas Stars as they fall short. And we got Panthers Knights. This is the matchup that big media wanted. The ratings for this are going to be just sky high. No, I'm kidding. This is going to be fun. This is going to be very fun because you got the Panthers who famously knocked out the greatest regular season team of all time, Boston Bruins, and the Golden Knights, who are seemingly doing this with a goalie who, by most metrics, is very average.
You think Aiden Hill's average?
By most metrics, yeah, up until the playoff run.
He's having a good playoff run.
Right.
Yeah. As someone who's kind of new to hockey, I'm not really super aware of how average he's been up until this point, but he's played extremely well. Yeah. Very happy for my Golden Knights going to the Stanley Cup Finals again. I'm not happy that it came against your Stars, Dave, in the Western Conference Finals. I really expected the Jamie Benn lift of Game 6 to be more significant than it was. Just a game I didn't expect to go that way.
I was pretty optimistic going into Game 6, but I don't really know what kind of energy you expel in a 7-game series. I've never played in a 7-game series, KJ. You might know that. But to come back like in a third elimination game, I feel like you got to be pretty gassed, which kind of makes what the Celtics did really, really impressive. They lost. We'll get to that later. But, I was pretty bummed. But that series was lost in Game 2, realistically.
Game 6 was a game that really, really worried me as a Golden Knights fan. All momentum was with Dallas. The game was back in Dallas. Got Jamie Benn coming back. Obviously, Golden Knights had not been playing super well. Didn't play a very strong Game 5. So it really, really worried me. I thought that if it would have gone to Game 7, I felt pretty confident in that one. This one worried me, but pretty early on, the tone was set, and it's kind of just over by the end of 1.
KJ, I'm just upset that we won't get a chance to say my favorite thing in sports, and it's just get it to a Game 7, and anything can happen. Anything.
You really got to throw the series record out at that point. It was a weird series. I don't know that I've watched a series feel so lopsided and go to Game 6. Just from an energy standpoint, which is dumb to say, but I don't know. Maybe it's puck control is the best way to measure it. It felt like the opposite of what the maybe not the Kraken series, but maybe the Wild series, where it just felt like the Stars were getting just beat up physically by the Wild left and right, but then they came out on top because they were, ultimately the better team. And here, they weren't really getting as embarrassed, but they just did not seem to measure up. And somehow they hung in there. So I don't know. It's been interesting to learn more about Pete DeBoer, not only his history as a coach. I guess I didn't realize all of the teams he'd been with prior to Vegas, but also understanding that the head coach of the Panthers is a mentor of his. So these finals are, Stanley Cup finals will be important or meaningful to him. I always find like coaching tree stuff pretty cool in the NFL and some other leagues. By that, I mean the NBA. So I don't know. It does not feel like it's a team that should have won or would have been great to have seen them won. But I gotta be honest and say that's probably the end of the road for my NHL interest this season. I don't know that I have much interest in watching Florida. Can't tell you where the hell they play Panthers at all.
The team of Brooks Koepka, where the infamous clap video came out.
We might need to get Big Game Brett on at some point. I don't know what to expect out of the Panthers. I asked him what kind of team they were, and I know that they weren't the strongest regular season team. They turned it on in the playoffs, and they swept the Hurricanes.
Boston.
From Carolina?
They didn't sweep Boston.
Oh, they didn't sweep Boston? Who beat Boston?
They beat Boston.
Okay. What a sweep.
They swept the Eastern Conference Finals. So, yeah, I don't know. They're playing extremely well. Brett seems to think Vegas should be favored, but I don't know much about that team. So I might need to do some catching up with him.
Turns out they are favored. Okay. Panthers the Dogs.
Slight favorite,
which I have no problem with. Obviously, I've watched way more Golden Knights than Panthers, but the Knights they're just really good. They're very deep. And like we said, their goaltender's playing better than he has ever. So, and that's all you need. You can ride a hot goalie. Is it sad that I had the mentality as a guy who's a fan of the team that's down 0-3, just thinking, okay, you don't want to get swept. You just want to get one. But after you get that one, you're thinking, can we just get another one just to maybe we can skew the Stanley Cup finals so we can like hurt the Knights in some way to where they're worse against, like, because I'm obviously pulling for the Panthers. I formerly, back in the day, I owned a John Van Beesbrook Panthers jersey for some inexplicable reason. Don't know why. Didn't age well, as it turned out. But I'm just thinking, like, okay, how do we extend this so they go into this next series like kind of tired and it puts them at a disadvantage? That's all I had to hang my hat on.
Yeah,
very sad.
I was, since the Panthers did sweep and had a lot of time to rest before the next series, I wasn't sure when the finals would start, but it turns out it's Saturday. So the Golden Knights had a very long break between games. So
plenty of time.
They'll have plenty of time to rest up, get the Stone Man some rest. So, yeah, full strength, full steam ahead. See what happens.
Damn. I just found some interesting news that may make me back in on this series because of Florida Panther fandom. I also learned that they're based just outside of Miami. The original owner, Wayne Huizenga. You know who that is?
Yes.
Huizenga.
Meth dealer.
Huizenga. Also, Blockbuster video magnate.
Huh.
How about that?
And they got their team the same day that Walt Disney was awarded the rights to a team in Anaheim.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So yeah, give me the Blockbuster Panthers. I'd be happy with that. I don't want to see Salt Bay in like Game 4 putting this away for Vegas.
That's the scariest thing about the Knights right now because they were the better team and they took down the Stars without Salt Bay even making an appearance.
I guess it's Dorn against the world once again.
I'm right. Give me
Let's fucking go. Fuck y'all haters.
Panthers and
I don't give a
6.
shit.
Panthers in 6. If I had to
Knights
put
in
money
5.
on it, I'd probably say Knights in 7.
Knights in 5.
You think 0 and 5?
No, I have
a
no
gentleman's
idea.
sweep.
I have no idea.
We almost had the infamous 0-3 comeback.
Yeah,
Reverse sweep.
I thought it would have been interesting if on the same night, actually the games were at the same time, if Boston completed the 0-3 comeback while Dallas forced a game 7 while being, while starting 0-3. That would have been wild, but turns out neither one happened because Boston Celtics did not show up.
Yeah. To get a game 7 at home and to lose by 20 points.
With all of the momentum in the world.
Yeah. And we don't have to talk about the merits of momentum. Hockey is, but we talked about this before, like hockey guys love talking momentum, but it's got to be very exhausting, especially in the NBA when it's never been done. You get to that game 7, but you think like, oh, dude, you got the advantage. You're playing in Boston. You are the better team on paper, like the much better team. You are talented, almost more talented at every position. And to get embarrassed by 20, not good. I got to say, fun night online. And as someone who is sad because their hockey team was going home, I was kind of living off the Schadenfreude of those guys getting run at home since the Stars had just got run 6-0.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I did thumbs down the fact that these games were at the same time initially, but it did make Twitter a little less toxic at that time because of, what was going on. I just I've already professed my love for Eric Spoelstra as a head coach. I think it's a little bit weird to see Mike McDaniel sitting courtside, like observing his every move there, learning from him, the head coach of the Dolphins. I believe it's his name. It was a weird game because Jimmy Butler played his ass off clearly, but he looked just as hurt as Jason Tatum. And so you weren't really getting either of their stars like having a signature game. You were just seeing that all of the other no-name players from the Heat were better than all of the other stars and notable players from the Celtics. All-time Game 6 ender to be kind of forgotten at this point now.
Yeah, that was also a fun night online. Did you catch any of that Game 6?
I did. I caught it. I caught the end of the game, and it was wild because I don't think many people at all thought while watching that last play in real time that he got it off before the buzzer sounded. I was like, he made it, but there's no way that's in. And judging by the reactions of literally everyone except for him, who was like, no, that's in. Everyone was like, oh, okay, it's clearly after the buzzer, this game's over. But the replay, it was very, very clear that he got it off. So what a wild ending. A big moment for that dude whose hairline Chuck and Shaq were just dunking on, and I feel bad for. They couldn't stop. Yeah, what a wild, I mean, I really thought Game 7 was gonna be all Boston after that was just a crushing defeat.
If you want to talk momentum, you'd think that losing momentum would be, if that's your thing, losing in an inexplicable putback and then having to travel to Boston. But dude, shout out to the Heat, man. That's a resilient team. I think NBA fans loved Jimmy Butler before. I'm hoping he becomes a household name. He should be by now because that dude's got it. That dude's everything you want on your team.
He refused to touch the trophy.
Really?
Post-game ceremony. He's like, nah. He's like, I'll touch the next one. One of those guys. He's a dog.
Dirk
I
in
love
2011, 2012.
I love Jimmy Butler, man.
Straight up dog. How about Caleb Martin? Dropping 26.
Yeah.
Pay the man.
Yeah, he definitely screams is going to get not overpaid, but is Tyler Hero does he have the potential of coming back?
Yeah.
Not to pivot completely off Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't this give Tyler Hero a shot to come back?
Yes, and I don't know where that minutes distribution. I don't know who he takes minutes away from.
I was going to say, like, are you going to fuck with the mix now?
No, he could come back. They're saying mid-series, so who knows? Did we lose KJ?
KJ gone.
Oh.
There he is.
Hey, KJ's back.
That was the quickest.
I heard he
exit
could come. That was weird. Everything went
re-entry
black and back.
ever.
Anyway.
So Tyler Hero, he could come back, you're saying?
Yeah, could come back.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to matter because I think Denver's like really, really, really good. And I feel like Denver should win this in 5 or 6.
Oh, it is one less bucket hat on the sideline if he does go back to play, at least. Like, that's one positive.
He'll put some fits out. He tries some stuff that most people aren't trying. He's
The
probably
sideline, go ahead.
it's a failed joke. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the sideline sideline watching for the Heat is top notch. Second, maybe only to the Lakers. So it's a little disappointment that we got the Nuggets, but I will be locked in on every random character that I can see on the sideline at Heat games.
I like the Heat
It's just great.
sideline. I like the courtside Heat fans. They seem to be just hotter. They don't look as strung out as like a lot of the fans in LA because
It's a hot city.
It is a hot city, man.
Yeah.
It is, and I've had my beef with the Heat over the years, but I've got no problem with that team.
Courtside seats at NBA games. It's always. It pulls in obviously that city's like very famous representatives. It's always interesting to see who's on the front row.
Go ahead.
What? I was going
Even
to say.
for a quarter.
No, this isn't about.
Seems like it is.
This isn't about the time I sat courtside for a Spurs game. But if Austin had an NBA team, who would be sitting courtside? You got McConaughey there, of course.
You got to think Elon was courtside at one of those Laker games.
Mm-hmm. Notably not for the fourth quarter. That's also what I like seeing is like, once I identify that you're there, if the camera sees you or not, once you're gone, it's very clear. Cause I'm always like, wait, where the fuck did Elon go? Seat's empty.
I'd love to see
I think
Tiny
it's something
Rogan.
that pulls like oh yeah.
Who?
You probably get Rogan plus like a random person every game for sure.
Does Austin low-key have kind of lame celebs in the grand scheme of things for a big city?
We've got Tony Gonzalez,
We do have Tony now.
and we're gonna have Emma Stone.
James Vanderbeek.
They're next door neighbors.
I didn't want to dox them.
Yeah, well,
I just dox the fuck out of
I
him.
didn't say where they live. I just said they're next door neighbors, and they are. Although Emma Stone hasn't moved in yet.
He's a beautiful man. She's a beautiful woman.
Taylor Kitsch.
T-Kitch, he doesn't live here anymore, sadly.
Oh, damn. Didn't know that. I think it would be one of those things where like Sandra Bullock weirdly would like come out as a diehard NBA fan and she'd be the one with like Spike Lee tickets. Is she still in Austin? I feel like she's forever Austin.
Is that a Brett sighting?
I haven't heard her name in a long time being associated with Austin.
Someone in this company claims that they drove by her like she was like next to him in an SUV. And I'm pretty sure it was the man we just mentioned.
The guy who's really good at spotting celebrities out.
Yeah.
And weirdly, it happens on a very regular basis for him. So
owns a house and a business, no longer lives in Austin. Damn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tough. Who?
James Marsden, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He gets seen a lot.
Grenier will be there.
Man,
There we
he
go.
didn't have the juice anymore.
He's fucking Vinny Chase, David. He's
Ever
got
since
the juice.
ever since he held the door for me and like we locked eyes and I said what's up.
He's got beautiful eyes.
God, they just draw you in.
He's got movie star eyes.
What's his agent's name? Why am I blanking on that?
Ari?
He? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Ari.
because he's he is definitely going to be on the Heat sideline. He was at 2 different games in the last series.
Jeremy
Keep an
Piven?
eye out. Piven, yes.
Jeez. Forgot about that, dude. Anything else on the finals before we party?
I don't think so.
All right. You giving me no choice. Sports party. This is the part of the podcast where we talk about some things a little bit off the beaten path, and we party at the same time. I'll start with breaking news. Noted Texas decommit Ron Holland has chosen his destination.
I saw this.
KJ, have you seen this?
For the people at home who are not familiar with Ron Holland and do not get him confused with being a member off of Happy Days and a great director, who is he?
He is the 5-star out of Duncanville, Texas, who is committed to the University of Texas.
Consensus, like top 5 player in the country coming out of high school.
What
Decommitted from
sport?
basketball.
There we go.
Decommitted from Texas recently. A lot of speculation that he was going to go to Arkansas.
Nope.
Nope.
Going to the G
Nope.
League.
G League. So I guess if you're going to lose him as a Texas fan, best that he's not going to be playing for any college program.
That hurts a little bit less.
Yeah,
I feel
it
like.
does.
Um,
But I was really, really excited to see him play in a Texas uniform. The dude is a complete baller.
He would have been sick. I don't know what the financial opportunity in the G League is for someone like him.
They make very little money.
It's like, because you got to think he's going to be up there as far as NIL deals, things like that. Would have been had he chosen a college. But
Of course, you can still chase, endorsement deals
Which-
as a member of the G League, but NIL opportunities absolutely were going to make him a bunch of money. The dude is a star, so good luck to him.
good luck to him. We got
Sorry for a quick aside. Is the G League, that's still because Gatorade owns the rights, right?
that. I don't know.
I think that's the case. I feel like the WNBA needs something similar. I don't know that Gatorade would do it as well. Maybe like Prime Sports Drink would do one for the WNBA, because I know there's all kinds of talks about like rosters not being as deep in the WNBA. Maybe a P League would help resolve that.
Okay, they're not going to do a P League.
Jesus.
God.
Well, I got to update run it back real quick.
Watching that sail out of the stadium.
I knew he was setting himself up. The P League. I thought you were going to say the G spot. And I'm glad you didn't, because I don't think that's funny at all. Is Gatorade
you
even?
can only-
Is there even a Gatorade tie-in? Or did you just make that up?
It used to be the D League. Remember,
For
it legitimately
developmental.
was the D League.
It actually
yes,
meant something.
for developmental,
Used
and
to mean
then
something.
Gatorade bought the rights.
G League.
Errol Spence,
Oh.
Bud Crawford, July 29th. It's actually happening. Let's go.
Vegas, right?
Vegas. Yeah, I believe it's Vegas. I kind of want to go. I've never
Thanks.
been to a boxing event. I'm sure it'll be cheap, and I'm sure I'll get great seats. Just a great view of the ring from 400 yards back.
I feel like that's one of those things that transcends even being at the event, like being in Vegas on fight nights. You know, notably, a lot of stars, a lot of shots, a lot of everything over the years.
A lot of shots.
Yeah, well, not nearly as good as the P League, but Tupac references are. Okay
Come
sometimes.
on. You got to stop.
This
Eli Drinkwitz
You
is
do
getting
the show
toasted.
for one person,
Where does he
and
pull
you
these
can
references?
do it so long.
Eli Drinkwitz got toasted online yesterday. Can I read his quote, and you guys can tell me if this bothers you? We're giving guys, this is at the SEC meetings, we're giving guys 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. Didn't have to name all of those numbers. Life-changing money. People are making more money in NIL than my brother-in-law, who's a pediatrician who saves lives. So what do you think? Pediatrician or collegiate basketball player? What is doing more for the greater good? Dylan, go.
I don't know, man, but I feel like if you are a college football coach who presumably wants to, sign the best talent possible for your program, develop them, and put a winning product out on the field, I feel like you should just shut the fuck up when it comes to stuff like this. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like, it's NIL. Everyone that you're recruiting is on board with NIL. Everyone wants the bag. Maybe lean into that a little more than you're trying to do here. Don't discourage it. Don't shit on it. Don't compare it to your brother who's
Brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
He saves lives, Dylan. Kids.
And that is an admirable profession, and they deserve to be paid handsomely for it.
I guess
I'm just gonna add, his brother's not a trauma surgeon or something. Like, pediatricians are critical to our healthcare system. They
think-
are the gateway to better care for children.
You think he just gives them gives
Up
kids
to the age
booster
of
shots and
18.
shit, or what? What do you think?
just puts like their thermometers
Hey,
in.
man, you're growing really well. Keep it up. Keep eating.
Oh, you're in the 5th percentile. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I don't. That's not how my pediatrician.
You've grown
sounds.
4 inches since I saw you last.
Wow, you're a healthy young laddie. My pediatrician's a young woman. So
Now, if I find out it's like a pediatric, like geneticist, developmental pediatrics, like something not critical, but truly life changing. How about that?
there's actually a number of jobs that make less money than some of these NIL deals. I would say most jobs actually.
Maybe not head coach, but
Yeah, $6 million a year, I think, for is what Mizzou is paying him.
Yeah,
annually.
again, great fucking point too. Shut up. Why couldn't you compare it to yourself?
You know, a lot of people say that Mizzou has a really good journalism school. I don't know if you knew that. Mike,
I'm
you know
aware.
Michael Weiner? He's
Micah-
a noted alum.
Micah's my favorite Mizzou alum.
Mm.
we should
mine is
also
my
take
dad.
the moment to say congratulations to Daddy Michael Weiner.
right.
I'd like
Good
to be
call.
the first on the Too Much Dip podcast to
KJ, thank you.
congratulate and welcome him to dadhood. It's finally he's joined the squad.
And as always, it's great to see you. That's
What
my Micah.
My treat. It's my treat.
A lot of new listeners here. Don't
What
know
a pleasure.
Micah, don't get the reference. He used to be a host on this show, and he's welcome back anytime. Shout out to Michael Weiner.
He's semi-retired from content, unfortunately, for all of you listening.
Dylan
See,
saw
now,
his dad
like-
for the first time in years and called him Mr. Wiener.
I had just a total brain fart, and he, to his credit, he wore it like a champ. But I could see it in his eyes. He's like, "You fucking called me wiener, didn't you?"
He was all dressed up too. This is at the baby shower. Like he was wearing like a really nice suit jacket.
I'm gonna have to just bite the bullet next time I see him. Like, look, I fucked up, and I'm sorry. I know your last name's Weiner. I had a brain fart, but he's probably used to it. Also, he said
You
that
didn't call
name.
Dr. Zuckerberg, Dr. Kuckerberg to his face. Why would you do this to Mr. Weiner?
He's
It's a
had
great
the
point.
name Weiner for many years. He's heard it all, I'm sure, but still, I feel terrible.
Are we going to talk Luton or Luton?
Real quick, we should probably have Lad Football Bruv give the accurate facts here, so I won't get into the history of it. But something I think we all have an appreciation for: Premier League, Champions League, promotion/relegation was just decided. Luton Town is a smaller team, and by smaller team, like absolutely tiny. I was happy to realize that they're like Luton Town's just northeast of London. It's tier 2 suburb, if you will. But what's absolutely nuts, in my opinion, is the size of their stadium. Will be the smallest in Premier League by far. 10,000 or so seats wouldn't make it even on par with half of Texas high school football stadiums. But on top of all of that, how you get into this stadium, you walk through an apartment like lobby, basically, and through their courtyard into the stadium.
I love it.
That's sick.
That is sick, right? Like, I don't know how cool it would be to live there. If there's one group of fans, I'm not sure I want walking through my lobby. It's soccer fans. No offense.
That's cool.
But that is dope. KJ, I gotta admit, I was not that familiar with Luton because for the last few years I've been Luton free. So
Okay. Usually Dylan would have a sign up that says, if you come around here, Luton, there will be shooting.
he's Second Amendment advocate. Dylan is. What, Randy?
All caps, #2A.
Randy's got his hat down low. He just ate Chipotle. I don't know what his deal. He might have tweaked a quad last night in softball, so he's kind of out of it. That's okay. We'll give you a pass, buddy.
We need a season report next week, Randy. We want to know what the stats are, how the team's doing.
Go ahead, Randy. Just give it to him right now. Tell him where everybody's at personally.
Well, I am personally got 2 pooled quads. I think I'll be in fighting shape come this next Tuesday. Dan, he last time I talked to him, it seemed like it was a bad sprain with his calf. He's pretty sure that he has torn it now, and he is booking a appointment for an orthopedist. So he's walking around. If you look at Dan Regester on Instagram, you can see him walking around his studio in a cane. With a cane.
There's always something with that dude, man.
Dan's got to ditch the cane. You got to get crutches. He's putting weight on it. It looks bad.
It's a swag cane. Did you see it? It's
It is a dope
wooden.
cane.
Yeah.
It reminds me of in 9th grade when I had a plantar's wart on the bottom of my foot, and I had to walk around with a cane.
Brett summed up Dan
That's true.
pretty well yesterday, I think. He said Dan is built for the weight room and not built for the for actual
Wild.
sport.
Actual sport. Dan needs to DH. Dan apparently mashes.
Does he? I could
That's what
see
Brett
that.
said.
I can't confirm. And to be honest, the first game of the doubleheader, he was killing it in the field. I had, first pitch of the game, I was pretty much out of commission, but he was killing it in the field.
You want to see your guy make it more than pitch.
And then I was
Ideally.
definitely safe on first base too. And Ump was on his phone all game.
Call him
Sorry,
out.
I'm calling him right here. He was like, counts 2-2. I'm like, you mean it's 3-2, right? There's a couple
Man.
balls. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, you, this
Wow.
Crazy
this
that
guy.
the adult beer league softball ump didn't take his job seriously.
Exactly. You know what? I need to get my
What a
get
loser.
some parents out there.
He's
to
probably
ump.
texting his wife about his kids or something. Like, why don't you fucking get your head in the game? Anyway, well, thank you, Randy. That was great. Dylan,
Glad I asked.
let's run it back.
Let's run it back. The segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Dave can't hear the word blown without getting weird about it.
That's Not
KJ's
just me.
kids were in daycare Monday. Huge news out of Wisconsin.
flex.
Tight.
Toxic KJ checking in from Wisconsin.
Huh.
The block has officially cooled down. It used to be hot, Dave. KJ referenced Chewbacca mom. KJ made a wake
Topical.
woke joke. Adrian Grenier lost his fastball ever since Dave held the door for him and they locked eyes that one time. KJ wonders if the WNBA should launch a new P League to develop its young female talent. KJ made a Tupac reference? Maybe?
He did.
And finally, Dave is unfamiliar with Luton as he is currently Luton free. That concludes Run It Back.
God, dude. What a freaking banger.
Mm-hmm.
Just all around. All around. Dylan, that was probably the most friendly Run It Back to you we've ever had.
Well, it helps when KJ just absolutely volume shot references all episode, and I had much to document. So thank you, KJ, for making my job easy.
Just making those bingo cards fill up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently when you clean the garage and hang stuff up and sweep, you're going to volume shoot.
Shouts to all my lax bros out there.
See you Monday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
We're back.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.